Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the animation analysis. Once again, I'm joined by Immortal.
Hello.
This time we'll be analyzing the animation for Goku Black vs. Reverse Flash. Now, before we get into this, uh, let's just say Immortal has a few choice things to say about the matchup itself.
Yeah, getting straight into things. This is probably my absolutely least wanted matchup in my Call of Death Battle history.
You want to explain why exactly?
Just for me personally, the matchup makes literally no sense. Like, okay, they look like good guys. They have similar powers, okay. And that's about it.
Yeah,
In,
yeah, that's honestly
talk about the
completely
characters,
understandable.
like, just briefly talk about the characters. Goku Black is a genocidal god bent on, well, mass genocide across the entire multiverse in order to achieve his perfect utopia. Um, Reverse Flash is just a dick to
The
bear.
pettiest asshole in DC. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we
So,
love him for it. And as I know, so basically, as we're going into this, I guess it's pretty much safe to say that Immortal's gonna be providing more insight on the Goku Black side, while I'll be providing more on the Reverse Flash side of things.
yeah, I'm way more familiar with
Yeah.
Goku Black than Reverse Flash, and you're the vice versa.
Yeah. So with that said, though, let's get into the animation, and we have a lot of good things to actually say about this animation.
I am honestly surprised by what I have to say.
Listen, you're in for a treat considering, as he just said, he hated this episode matchup, but this animation, well, let's begin. First off,
Right.
let's start with the intro. Okay, first of all, the fact that Dawn is the reason Quicksilver died back in a Flash versus Quicksilver is just perfect. It's just incredible.
That is,
It's just
that
great.
is honestly such a great fucking detail.
There is a small sprite error actually, as earlier on when you see Dawn like holding a newspaper from his point of view, he's holding it like it's closed, but when it flips back, it's open. It's a
Well,
minor.
there's a simple explanation for that. He's simply opening it at super speed between the transitions.
It's honestly believable. Yeah, go on. Also, I love how the first line we get of the episode is, "It was me, Barry." We get the legendary me.
Barry.
Go-
Yeah.
Going on, I want to say, even for the first few seconds, Dawn's really expressive, and I like that. The other thing is, like, you
He's
mentioned this in the
really-
previous animation analysis, how for, like, Batman, how they animated the mouse separately. They sort of do that here, but the way they, like, fade part of the pixels of the mouth makes it feel more natural and part of the sprite.
Yeah, this one looks like way better than Bruce's did beforehand.
Yeah.
Like, even him just sitting down and like being himself is way more expressive and animated than I expected.
Yeah. Going on. Now we get to Goku Black's introduction. So, I want to say that something that kind of threw me off is, again, I don't Dragon Ball much, but is that like introduction like similar to how he'd appear in the show, or is this?
The introduction is a reference to his introduction animation in Fighters, where he appears in a swirling dark green cloud. The difference there is there's no portal opening. At the same time, it's not that big of a deal. Just a cool reference.
Okay. Alright, and it was animated presumably. Also, I like how he's drinking tea in reference to his own name.
Yeah.
We start out the battle with two memes.
The best guy.
And he's just killing people. and still drinking the tea while he does that. And oh, this is a really small detail. If you know, go back to the animation, to the bit where Thon punches the cup, you can look at his expression. He first goes for, looks like he's gonna go for a punch at Goku Black, but then his eyes slowly travels down to the teacup, and he decides, you know what? Yeah.
No matter what, he's gonna be petty.
Yeah. To be fair, it's not even completely clear why the fight actually starts. Like, Goku Black starts killing people, and then Thon just feels inclined to step in. Maybe you could, like, the closest thing I can imagine is that he got interrupted in the middle of his "It was me, Barry" speech. But aside from that, I don't really see why they started fighting.
Well, I mean, Black would have attacked Reverse Flash anyway.
That is true.
So maybe a matter of
like, maybe if he, like, dodged one of the blasts or something, that would have worked. But yeah. To be fair, though, I guess flimsy reasoning is kind of natural for Death Battle, but it's also very natural for Reverse Flash, too. Going on. Oh, I just love how Reverse Flash just does that. Also, a small animation error, just they forgot to draw the red stripes around his waist, and it looks hilarious.
He's built like a 3D Dorito.
Holy shit, he's packing. Anyways. Oh, and... Anyways, this is one of the... This opening move from Thon here is just like... Just explains his personality so much.
I can't believe he just killed Rick.
I was thinking that too, I didn't want to say it. But yeah... It's like very... But yeah, him just grabbing a civilian and using him as a meat shield is great. I mean, it's not great for the civilian, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And just like, and then... And normally you would argue that the punch had like no build, like he didn't wind up, right? But honestly, just switching frame from like charging straight to the punch works because, you know, he's a Flash, he's fast.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, this punch actually had a lot of impact.
I guess you could say it had more impact than Hulk vs. Broly.
That's just gonna be a running thing in these videos, aren't they?
Yes, it is.
Anyways.
Also, I want to say something preemptively. This doesn't really affect like the animation or what I have to say or think about it, but this episode is a lot bloodier than I expected it to be.
Yeah, that is true. Like, considering, like, the opening, the first thing we see of Goku Black is him just killing people, and just, we get a bunch of blood splats here and there, and, you know, we just saw Thon do that with the civilian.
And, as we'll see, there's more to come.
Yeah. I love how he does, he's like, stand still, and Thon does exactly that. Oh, and then, you know, let's Goku Black face through him. Here's a small detail, his feet are actually smoking here, because he stood still, he just moved the rest of his body around via phasing, but didn't move his feet at all, so he technically listened. It's a really nice detail.
Sorry.
Anyway, going on. I want to say that I like that how they point out that throughout the animation, it's almost impossible for Goku Black to land a direct hit, so he had to do that to catch Thon off guard there. That's a really nice touch.
That is good.
Yeah. And now we get to the transformation.
It's actually, that line is actually something Goku Black is well known for. He does. It's basically a well-known quote. He says it in some of the games he's in.
Huh. Oh, and this. through the Earth twice and through the Moon twice. That's just over the top, and what's crazy is Zoom shrugs it off with no problem.
Oh yeah. Okay, now, pause for a sec. This is probably a good time to mention since Black just destroyed it all, but the background is so fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, it's let's go back a bit. Like, look at how much detail this place has. Again, I'm really enjoying how...
And this shot,
yeah.
zooming out, is so good.
Like, that build, and on the zooming out the building's great, too. And this is where the fight just starts getting crazy.
This is probably my favorite portion of the fight.
Oh, whoops. I will say that the hand-drawn was a little jarring there, but to be fair, it's not there on for too long. Okay, here's a small complaint I kinda have is Goku Black's scythe. It doesn't look how it, from what I've seen, this is just like, they just took a scythe sprite and just gave it a small, like, tangent of pink. Like, overlaid it.
Yeah, it does look a bit too simple.
But to be fair, with how fast the fight is, you barely notice it.
That's fair, but they still probably could have given it a glow or at least some effects.
There's like a very slight white glow on it, but it's not too big.
Yeah.
Just the shot of the two Thons laughing with no context is hilarious. And then... introducing Death Battle's version of the Spider-Man meme.
This is honestly probably my favorite little scene from this whole episode.
I also want to... Yeah, it's great. Just, they both killed each other, but then they're still not dead.
Yeah, and this is also where the more bloody parts come in.
Oh yeah.
Referred to my earlier comment of how it was bloodier than I expected.
Yeah. I also want to point out that Goku, they don't say why aren't you dead in sync. Goku, like Reverse Flashes finishes saying his sentence faster, which is like a very small detail.
It is.
Yeah. Another thing, going back to like how Reverse Flash is normally too fast to like get hit, he gets distracted by the other Goku Blacks for the main one, I guess main one, to kick him in the back, and then they unleash the combo again. The fact that almost every time Thon actually gets hit in the episode is because he gets caught off guard. That's a really, really nice detail.
Oh yeah, it is.
I don't know why, but I just love him saying, "Oh shit," and then phases through him.
Yeah, from what I've heard, that is both pretty out of character for him to even say that. But at the same time, I adore the delivery for it.
I don't... really? Out of character for Thon? How come?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, he's sworn plenty of times before. Like, they were his last words in, like, you know, the DC, like the DC animated films where he appears in? His last words before he dies in Suicide Squad is, "Fuck my life."
I mainly was referring to it because I think...
I don't understand how that's out of character, honestly.
Like, I think it's the context of the scene.
Yeah, that's true.
Another thing, I adore the delivery of it. Like, it's so good.
It feels natural, yet, yeah, it's
just
great.
like how Tony said it in Batman vs. Iron Man.
Yeah, shit being delivered naturally. I said it like that on purpose. But yeah, going back to this. I like how this, again, now this is where it just gets insane, where this was earlier in the fight when Black shot him through the planet, through the Earth and the Moon, and then just boom, kills him. And then, this is honestly the funniest one, this is before he even says that it was me, Barry line, and he's just reading the newspaper, and then Goku Black. The way it's animated, you can see that version of Thon going like, what? Right before he gets obliterated. It's hilarious.
I love it. It is so good.
Honestly, I think it could have been funnier if he gets you know how he got cut off from finishing his speech earlier on in the episode? Imagine if they cut him off mid, it was me, Barry. That would have been funny.
That would have actually been perfect.
Honestly, this is good too. Just while we could have gotten him getting cut off, literally, him just reacting with a small "what" is good too.
That's the kind of character acting I love, where it's just like completely genuine. They don't know what's going on. Like, huh?
Yeah. And right before they.
I'm actually. This is a bit of a minor thing. I'm actually kind of confused on what this was. Was he aging Black out of existence?
Or like pulling him into the negative speed force? It's never explicitly clear. I'd assume if it was aging, they'd show like how old Goku Black has gotten or something. But I think this is just like, I don't know, high speed vibration to oblivion. I don't know. I learned that, but I like how technically this is because of like how the time travel shenanigans work. This is a timeline where Thon inadvertently prevented the planet from being blown up. Going on, probably the funniest, probably one of my favorite scenes in the episode. Him actually moving the statue that kills Quicksilver. He wasn't lying at the beginning. Also, another really small detail that you don't see, when Goku Black like teleports in here, you see that small green glow over there? It's a time ring.
That's from the time ring, yeah.
That's a very small detail that I believe it happens whenever Goku Black does do the like transportation thing.
Yeah, it does. In canon, he really doesn't time travel with it on screen. It's sort of just like, oh, it's already happened. But whenever the time ring is used, it does give off a green light.
Alright, and I want to point out how it's casual this was. Is I'm gonna assume this is the main Thon. He comes into this time to just see himself do it, and then he just like sees Goku Black kill him, and it's like, I'm out. And of course, they recreated Quicksilver's death, and with the exact, might I add, they reused the exact same audio clip too. They recycled the audio clip as well as like the sprites used for the area he died. It's a pretty faithful recreation.
Oh yeah, definitely. The amount of like effort and detail put into it to make it as faithful as it was, just great. Hey, so that... Okay, wait.
Yeah?
This scene, just from the...
I'm gonna assume this is them running / flying through the time stream.
Yeah, but up until this shot, I love that, where Thon just has such a really good running animation.
Yeah, compared to like the really more awkward running animations like Barry and Wally had. Like, I really like how Thon's running animation looks.
It's definitely really good.
Yeah, because
there's just something about Black's animation I love here.
Oh yeah,
it's not really moving, but his clothes are.
Yeah, that's a really small detail. They actually animated his shirt like flying because of like how fast they're moving. You can see it it's not as noticeable, but his pants are doing the same thing too, and his hair. Like, yeah, it's like really small. Again, small details, but it feels so natural. It's great.
And while not animation focused, I love his delivery of his line. It's so good. It sells pompous, I'm a god, you're not attitude.
Should I mention, both of the actors in the episode have actually done previous Death Battle episodes. Reverse
Flash?
He was an ace back in Natsu vs. Ace.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
As for Goku Black, he was a Shazam back in Captain Marvel vs. Shazam.
Oh, alright.
Yeah. Honestly, their vocal performances are a lot better here, because obviously more time has passed and they've gotten more practice, but it's just really good. I love that so well. That is so cool.
I know, I love that.
Like, the Infinite Dawn's just repeatedly doing the punching. And just the delivery of his line, he gets cut off right... I mean, not cut off. He gets hit as soon as he finishes his sentence. He gets his word in. That's great. And another thing that's...
you know what I love?
Yeah?
There's one... I just want to say something. This is the first legitimate hit Goku Black gets in without having to trick.
Yeah. Because if you notice, every time he gets hit, he feels the blow the first time, and again... But he slowly just tanks them. You can before getting that hit in. It's really well done.
And the impact of it, oh my god.
Yeah, they break out of the time stream upon the hit. That is so good. You can see the shockwave and everything, and it even has the Dragon Ball sound effect, hit sound effect.
Like this scene is just so good.
And there's a small detail right here. It's not animated, but it's something you notice. Because Goku Black hits Dawn with his right arm here, and then Dawn phases right through. There's interestingly enough, this animation of Goku Black's just lower part here, there's a lot of emphasis on his right hand for some reason, and it's revealed how come. Because Dawn used that one time Goku Black hit him, he used that to steal the time ring. That's so cool. It's such a small attention to detail. Again, they focused on the right arm, which is where he showed where he had the time ring and everything. It's really well done.
And I just want to say something.
Yeah?
When Black basically clotheslined Dawn, it almost looked like his grip was tightening around his neck afterwards. I don't know if he was, but it looked like that.
I think I see what you're talking about, yeah.
And this hand drawn here is so gorgeous.
I want to say that Dawn here, Dawn's kind of does look off, but I don't really care because it's such a good shit-eating grin. He's just sorry. Was that important? It's so good.
It is, and what I really like, I think the reason it looks off is because his face is a bit too wide.
Yeah, like, if it was a bit more narrow, it would work. But I think the fact that it's wide and kind of looks like... I'm gonna be honest, it kind of looks like a troll face.
I see you don't own an air fryer.
Anyways, but yeah. And I just love the last detail this Dawn does before, like, disappearing or whatever is flipping Goku Black off. That's just so Dawn, and I love it.
It is really fucking good.
And then, I'm going to be honest, this is probably the most brutal death we've gotten since, like... Honestly, probably more brutal than both Hulk vs. Doomsday and John Telbane vs. Saberwolf. Because Reverse Flash runs around the Earth so many times to the point he practically burns off half of Goku Black's body. That's it.
Just...
Like this sprite here, that is holy shit.
Oh my fucking god.
Like
Man, this episode was a lot bloodier than I would have expected.
To be fair, Reverse Flash in like the film series appeared in, they're a lot more bloodier compared to DC's other films in the same continuity. It's a little fair, but yeah. Like also just Goku Black screams as Dawn does this. That's like, holy shit. Also, another detail. When Dawn throws him around, you can see his intestine, like, flailing.
Oh my god, that's both great and disgusting.
And then, to finish things off, tosses the body into the goddamn sun. That's just so extra.
He not only just tosses him into the sun, he tosses him so hard into the sun that the sun fucking explodes.
Yeah. And like, like, it's not clear what happens here, if he like dies or escapes, but honestly, I honestly think him dying while like everything works out, like burns out, that's honestly, I'm gonna be honest, that's in character for Dawn, because I'm gonna assume you haven't seen I'm gonna assume you haven't seen the Flashpoint movie.
I have not seen Flashpoint.
See, the thing is, well, this is in the comics too, like when Barry does the whole like Flashpoint alternate universe, by like accident and everything, and when it's about to be destroyed, Dawn explicitly states that, like, Barry says that if Dawn doesn't do something about this, he'll die too. Dawn says he does not care as long as Barry suffers and dies. It's perfectly reasonable for Dawn to actually be fine dying here, but he but considering we can't see what fully happened, it's also reasonable to assume he escaped as well.
Actually, I just want to say something.
Yeah?
The main Reverse Flash kind of just phased out of the timeline after he flipped Goku Black off. So I'm pretty sure this is just another Reverse Flash that happened to be there.
Yeah, that's honestly a really fine detail, and I mean, to be fair, it's very hard to like realize that, considering, you know, how fast these two are, how many clones they have. With how crazy it is, it's hard to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, overall, like, I'm gonna which frame is? You know what? I know which frame I gotta leave this paused on. Just gotta after this. Just gonna leave it here as we continue talking. It's a good shot. But yeah, voice, let's get into like some of the other stuff. Voice acting wise, like, wow, those two gave it their absolute best. Especially since they don't sound like identical to their like actual voices. Like, I've only heard Goku Black's dub here and there, but it doesn't sound like the performance here.
Funny thing about Goku Black, like dubbed voice, he has had at least 4 different iterations of his English voice because they couldn't figure out what the hell to do with him.
Wait, Shinji Gamel doesn't always voice Goku Black?
No, he does. It's just that he had different voice direction.
Oh.
Just real quick, in Xenoverse 2, he was more gruff, and then also in Xenoverse 2, his Britishness was played up more. But when Super got dubbed and Goku Black got dubbed, it was sort of both aspects were sort of turned back. Sort of mellowed out, but still present. Then Fighters came out and had both super British Goku Black, super gruff Goku Black, and just in between Dragon Ball Super Goku Black.
Odd. Huh. I guess that's kind of why it works then. Since Goku Black doesn't have a consistent voice, it's a lot easier. And as for Dawn, his voice actor doesn't sound like his more iconic voices, like from like the Flash CW series or like the DC animated films, but the reason why it works so well is because they hired the same guy that did several "It was me, Barry" voices.
He does.
This is the same guy that did the one where Dawn claimed he jerked Barry off at super speed.
Oh, good. But yeah, voice performance, really good.
Like, I don't really have a single complaint of how the voice direction went. It's fantastic.
It is. Like, oh my god.
And as for Oh, and let's get to another fantastic part, the music.
Oh my god.
Reverse Rose is an amazing track. It's like high speed and crazy, and it's like it has a both powerful and dark feel to it, which fits both of these characters well.
Like, I didn't really start listening to it until like maybe a few hours ago, but like on its own. But when I did, oh my god, it's so goddamn good. I don't think I like it more than stuff like Mighty and Chorus of Carnage, but oh my god, it's definitely...
Yeah, it's high up there for me too.
It's just so good.
And then going on, like, other small stuff here and there, like, it's just, with all these details here and there throughout the fight, it's just, like, I can't help but, it's just, like, really well done. Like, also, the detail of Thawne actually being the one that killed Quicksilver, again, that's hilarious, and it's in character for him. It's just great.
It really is.
Like,
and I love when they play... I like it when they throw back to an earlier fight in some way. Sort of like how in the Goomba vs. Koopa DBX they called back to the other time travel fight. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Why was this the best usage of time travel in a death battle?
To be fair, Thawne is one of the most creative when it comes to abusing time travel. Considering, as you know, he went back in time just to make Barry's childhood shit.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's like, overall, again, I have, like, very few complaints about this, like, the fight animation itself. Like, the small stuff that I get annoyed by, like, again, like, the scythe being, like, animated not as it would be in the show. Those are just like tiny details that you wouldn't care about because of like how fast the episode goes.
Yeah, I completely get what you mean. I guess one of my most minor nitpicks, and this is really minor, I would have loved to see Black in like normal Super Saiyan form. Because he does have it in the manga, but they didn't even mention that.
Yeah, I guess that could have been done to like help escalate the fight a little bit. But I'm gonna assume that Goku Black just went straight to Super Saiyan Rose because, well, he saw how fast Thawne. Yeah, and he saw how fast Thawne was. He probably realized, you know, he can't screw around. But yeah, like overall, just a really well done, really well done episode. Like I have very little to complain about, especially like compared to the last episode, Batman vs Iron Man, which is like slightly above average. This is like a heavy contender for like a top tier episode.
I will say this right fucking now. I never expected to love this episode.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned it several times in Discord how you don't like the match, but after watching the episode, you're surprised just how much you like it.
It's so fucking good. Oh my god. It is honestly a top 5 contender for me of my all-time favorite episodes from Death Metal.
This one's definitely at least broken my top 10 or 2.
Like, it does not top Lucy versus Carnage. That's still peak sprite animation for me. And it does not top All Might versus Might Guy. But I'll have to see about the others.
Yeah, I'll have to like re-evaluate my own list after this. Holy shit, if this episode was amazing. Like, I'm gonna be honest, my rating for this, I'm honestly giving it a 10 out of 10. Like, I love this episode.
I was gonna say as well, 10 out of 10. They went so hard. There was so much love, and passion.
I'm gonna be honest, like, I think they because you know, like a couple of people, several members of the research team, like including several we know personally, like Church, they know that this episode that like has been highly requested, but as time went on, people got tired of it. So I'm gonna assume that the animators knew this as well, so since they knew this matchup was getting like a more negative response nowadays by the versus community, they decided to like go all out and make it as best as they could.
Like this is finale tier, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I honestly completely agree. Like, I guess I'm gonna be honest. It feels like Batman vs Iron Man was like okay to like slightly above average to like lower our expectations for what we get the rest of this season. Because the quality jump from that to this is insane.
I will say this actually right now. If this was puppet animation at any point, I could not have noticed. Even if I think
it was like at the very beginning where like Thawne was like reading the newspaper and like puts his hand on his chest when he says, "I was the one who." Aside from that, there's like a small bits like when Goku Black does like grab Thawne at 2 points in the fight, Thawne does become more puppet animation style, but you can barely tell.
I know.
And considering what I'm impressed about is the rating you gave this episode, especially since, like you mentioned, you're not a fan of the matchup and you really don't like the puppet animation.
I hate the matchup. I dislike puppet animation in Modern Death Battle. I love this fight. Easy 10 out of 10.
Like, another thing this fight had against it, it's a DC match right after a DC match.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you wanna know something?
What?
This is technically the third time Goku has lost to a DC character.
Goku's lost count. Superman and Reverse Flash. I don't think we'd ever see. That's really odd. That's really odd. Funny thing enough, they do interact a bit in the Flashpoint movie. But yeah, overall, it's, again, like we said, 10 out of 10. This is an amazing episode. Easily, like, a top-tier contender should be a top-tier contender for most lists. It's fantastic.
It is. Like, I don't think I've genuinely spoke this passionately about an episode for so long.
Like, again, if you don't believe it, like, actually, take it from Immortal. He went into this with so many things against this episode, and it came out 10 out of 10 for him.
Like, I have this meme I made for my first reaction. You can just put this in if you want.
Yeah, I'll put it up on the screen. Just DM it to me later, I'll put it up on the screen.
Oh, it's already in DMs, but
Alright.
It basically just sums up my thoughts going in.
Yeah, overall, but yeah, I guess to end this off, again, I've lost count how many times we said this, but this is a really good episode. We can't emphasize it enough.
That is an understatement.
Yeah, it's the amount of how much they went into this. After Batman vs. Iron Man, I was like, okay, I guess the rest of the season will be okay. This just shot my expectations up insanely for it. Now, that may be a bad thing, considering we're getting a joke matchup next, but honestly, I'm gonna watch it out of obligation. Honestly, I imagine it'll be fun to some extent. The rest of the Season 8 is looking good. But yeah, with that said, that's all we have to say for this episode. I guess you'll join us next time when we analyze the hand drawn for Randy Savage versus Kool-Aid Man. If I recall correctly, I don't think we've gotten that hand drawn style since like Mario versus Sonic. So on another side, it'll be nice to see how far those animators have come. But,
yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I was just basically doing an outro thing. This was fun to do, and thanks for having me as usual.
Yeah, and with that said, thanks for watching, and and we'll see you all next time.